1994 Pro Systems car.
Knew less than 4 months later, the man sitting behind me with a baseball cap, looking at his computer for race stats with NHRA super stock as he did every day from Route 12 to 1, would pass from a massive stroke. My friend and mentor, who taught me these fine engine building techniques and helped me build this short block and did the machine work, passed after working 50 years for himself building engines. This was the last engine that Donn machined and helped put together before his death. R.I.P. Rosebud. My true friend.
So here we are. This is the third wash of the 408 Cleveland. Got her home. So the next is a wash her again, rinse her off, and then we're going to blow it off of there, blow it all the galleys, and then we'll get her back on the stand and get ready to put the can bearings in. We finished up honing it yesterday. Donn did that. I had to work. So we ended up washing the block today for the third time. And we just got it done. We ended up blowing it out with air, getting rid of all the extra water that's around and any kind of possibility of rust. Then what we did is we installed the cam bearings from Tim Meyer, the restrictor bearings. I ran them before in this motor and had good luck with them, so I put another set in. We put those in now. And you have to pay attention to how those bearings are clocked. And they got the instructions with them, so it's pretty self-explanatory, but make sure you read those if you're going to use that. Kind of give you an update of where I am. I got the Mahle rods from Tim Meyer, thanks Tim. These have the correct forward offset. Nice looking rod. Kind of give you some more information where we're at. The crank's back here. You can see this, and before we're done, I'll bring the camera up so you can see how nice that looks. Dropped it off at Shaft Tech, which is in Findlay, Ohio. The guy used to work with Cali's and then started his own company and does crank balancing, magnafluxing, straightening, and the finish here that I have, it's an Omni Micro Finish, I think it was called. It looks like chrome, it's crazy. It's nice and smooth so the oil won't be sticking to it. Here's the another plug that I have to give. I want to thank Todd Fuchs, who's sponsoring me now. Todd had this nice engine plate made for me and sent it to me with some other things. We hone the cylinders. I think you can see that. They look mint. They came out, I think he said they came out at 4034. So with that plus the pistons I think were 4.026. and we added the 2000s to the skirts. It comes out to like 6 to 8 thousandths for piston wall clearance. Was that right, Don? The piston to wall clearance will be 8 thousandths?
Yes.
Just had to talk to the chief, so that's what he was saying. So, like I said, it might be a little loose, but here's where we're at. I'm gonna roll with it. It'll be fine for this situation. I also want to bring it around here. And I don't know if you can see that, but I had some old scratches in there, surface scratches. I'm telling you, they're gone. I mean, the thing is mint, so I really like that. And you can see here's the one plug you put in for Tim Meyer's cam bearings here. And like I said, I went through all the holes, deburred everything, cleaned everything up. Got to give another shout out to Tim Meyer again for the rods he hooked me up with. I also got a new Rollmaster timing set. This is CS 3130 with a Torrington built bearing. Another plug for Doug at Precision Oil Pumps. Here's my new blueprinted high volume oil pump that I'm using, that he sent to me for like a sponsorship, and I appreciate that, Doug. He also sent me the Billet drive shaft, and he sent me the Ford stud oil kit for free, so I appreciate that help, Doug. I'm getting a lot of questions about stuff on the YouTube channel. I answer them the best I can. And like I said, when I answer things or tell you things, it's what I have for experience. It's what works for me. I don't know what you can see, but they're mint. There's Todd's plate. Here's the crankshaft. Let me see if I can look at it too so you can see. So I think that's a Scot crank. That's a 6200 crank. At least that's what it said on it. It's pretty mint. I'm here at the shop with Donn Rhode this morning. We kind of got an early start on things. The block has all been washed, like I said before. Cam bearings are put in. I just put in the bearings and laid the crankshaft in. And I'll kind of give you a picture of that. You can see the crank in here now. I'm using the Calico coated bearings. So here's a thrust bearing here. You can see that coating on there. So it helps reduce the friction, probably keeps it cool. It's an investment, but I think it's worth it. I put in a rear main seal. And if you're running a stroker crank in a Cleveland, I don't know about the Windsor block, but it always seems to, they always have a little bit of drip at the rear main seal. And I'll tell you, since I've used the Felpro orange seal, here's an old Motorsport one. I have a few of these that I bought way back in the day because you can't buy these anymore. Another thing I'll point out here, the main caps, I don't know if you can see them, but I chamfered all the holes to help prevent any cap walk. There's my main caps with the coated bearings in there. Got my studs all set up. Here's the crank now in the block. Getting ready to put her together in regards to the main caps on. Rear main seals in, you can see that. We balanced the crank, was only off a little bit. So getting ready to put the caps on. Number one. And you make sure that you put some lube on here, assembly lube. You don't want to start anything dry. All the piston pins have been fitted to the new Molnar rods with the correct offset. Look at that, baby.
Yep. So the next thing is wash all the rods and pistons.
Next thing is wash all the rods and pistons, just like you said. So that's looking good. And then my tray will go on. That'll fit mint too.
That's at least 20 horse.
You think it's 20 horse? That'd be nice, boy. That'd be 72. 772 without the headwork.
Yeah.
Who knows? Bottom end's all done. Kind of get in here and you can see the, it's all torqued. I torqued mine to 110 foot-pounds. Crank spins like a dream. I've washed the rods. They've been sized. These are the Mahle rods. So the pins have been fitted. Here's the piston that's all done. Wash these again for like the second time after they've been coated. Kind of bring it in. And then here's a better look at the Mahle rods with the forward offset. Grind these rings. It's like watching paint dry. You're not going to get nothing out of it. Main lesson from that is to make sure that the ring is square. You don't want to file that thing crooked. You want it perpendicular to the wheel. So it's riding that cylinder smooth, 90 degrees, not scraping the sides. So I kind of lied. I will show you about the rings. I'm doing the grinding of the rings now for the end cap. This is the top compression ring. This one's going to be 20 thousandths. So I had measured it, kind of got an idea what it would need. I put it in the bore first, and then went over to the grinder, ground what I thought would be close. There's a dial indicator, but I don't know if I trust that yet. I just do a little at a time, because I haven't done rings in a long time. Last time I did it was with a hand grinder. So you go ahead and put it in the bore, flip it up. This centers it in the bore. We all know this. You've seen it all before. And once I got it in there, I like to pull the ring back up to make sure it's seated flush. We got our gauges here. One's red for 20, so you don't have to keep looking at it. It's a good little trick right there, thanks to Donn Rhode. And I'm kind of turning this way. It doesn't really matter which way I'm standing here. But I go ahead and I got 20 thousandths. You can't really see as I can, but there it is. I really need to wear glasses. It's funny, these little tiny details, especially building this. And it's got a snug fit, so to me that's perfect. And this is number 6. So you put them in the piston just the way you each bore. Measure them separately, so you keep everything with the same piston set. Then you don't have to worry about things getting lost. So that's going to be right here. We'll grab another one. So I'm doing the second ring in the third cylinder, which is really 7 on this, we all know. Just a little bit more. And the Napier always goes down because it's bringing oil down to oil the cylinder. So keep your orientation when you're doing this. So I'm gonna go ahead and grind this down. You know, the main thing is you gotta put it in square. Now Donn can do a set pretty fast. Me, on the other hand, I haven't done one of these in I don't know, a long time. So it takes me a little bit longer to set it up, but I think you kind of get the idea of what you're doing. Plus, I'm cautious about sticking my hand where things are spinning, even though this thing's only probably going 500 RPM. It looks pretty damn straight. I take a kind of file and kind of knock off any kind of burrs. I find with this kind of work, I need to wear my glasses. I just can't see it that good. I was measuring it this way. Tilt it in, center it with this wicked tool instead of using a piston. pull the ring up tight so it's flat to the bottom of this, whatever it's called. It's cool. Man, that thing looks straight as an arrow. Slight drag, to me that's good to go. So here's the compressor ring for number 7. This says up top, so we know that we want to put it in top. I've been kind of doing it the same way on every cylinder with the end gap going this direction, so I'm going to keep it the same way. With the centering tool, pull it up tight, and then I look at it and get an idea, because I'm looking at it now, it's almost buttoned. There's no way that it's going to fit without grinding some of that out of there. And with this one, I'm a little more cautious grinding it because I just don't want to screw up. There again, I put it in this just like the top, the same way every time. I want to see the top up on my, in this case. I like to make sure it looks like it's square, which it does to me. But you get the idea. I'm not going to do every one of these. I just wanted to show you that I'm doing it and paying attention. But it turns really nice. Hardly any drag on that. I'll show you something else. Got the intake from Morgan. This thing is sweet. And light. I don't know if you can see in there, but we'll kind of get it in there. But you can see that AR plate on the top. So I'm pretty excited about that. I got the cylinder head too. I'll show you a quick view of that. But this intake's beautiful. I bet you that's 25 horse right there. He was talking about the plate. If you saw my other videos with the spacer plates with him, we'll see what's going on. So thanks, Darren Morgan. And you can see there, thanks, Rear Morrison. Here's a cylinder head I got back from him. Take a peek. Probably can't see that, but these are flowing, I think he said, what, 395, which is pretty darn good. So I think with these and the intake and the little mods I made, with getting the engine put together the right way without banging into things. Windage tray for my buddy Blake. I think we're gonna pick up some horsepower there. Morgan was saying that with the heads and intake, I could pick up close to 10%. 10% of what I was making before would be 75 horse. That's like 827 horse. I don't think it's gonna make that much. Who knows? If it is, I don't know, will it stay together? That's the question. But either way, we'll know by the quarter mile times what it's going to do. So I'll try to show you the rods in regards to the offset, but there isn't any offset, they're centered. It's perfect. Come down. Seems to be a big talk about the rods being offset versus not offset. All right, so I'm getting ready to button this up. I'm gonna put this windage tray on. I checked all the clearance on it and it looks pretty good, so I think I'll be all right with that. These little Allen head bolts hold it on. I'm putting a little blue Loctite on it. Worry about dropping stuff with the motor, I guess, but you know, you just be careful, that's all. The windage tray on, and I'm trying to get you so you can see the clearance. Sorry about the movement. Clears perfect. All the clearances are golden, especially the pistons that were hitting the crank before. There's plenty of clearance now. So I mocked up the oil pump already to get my clearance to the oil pan. And we know Cleveland's, they're a pain because they screw that pickup on and you got to get it on just right because you don't want to loosen it up, then it can vibrate or loosen up. So that's the issue you have. It's like 3/8, I think, is the clearance on it. I got a stud kit from Precision Oil Pumps. I put that on and put the gasket on. Make sure the gasket doesn't cover up that hole that's pushing the oil through to the filter. Make sure you either trim it, you want it to fit perfect on there. Here's the other key. You don't want to forget your oil pump drive shaft either. This is from Precision Oil Pumps also. Thanks, Doug. Grab the bolts here. They have 12-point lock or 12-point nuts. All tight. That's looking damn good. Everything has got good clearance. Here's my oil pan. I'm just going to kind of leave it on here and lock it up and make sure that it doesn't hit. Nice. It's getting there. So we're gonna wrap it up now. Just wanted to tell you guys, thanks for tuning in. I appreciate everybody helping me out. Morgan, got to throw you out a special shout out. That intake is awesome. I appreciate that, and the head's unbelievable. I think we're gonna pick up some power, no doubt about that. I think I can get that 950. So stay tuned. I gotta throw a shout out to Mark at Bullet Cams and Bullet Cams for sponsoring me, sending me some new valve springs and retainers and locks. I was running some Iski stuff, but I want to say it's from 2011. And we looked at the cam, we talked about it. There might be a little bit of lifter movement on there that shouldn't be there, although it's not marked up, but the wear signs are there. I think I need more spring pressure. So I'm going with Pack 1225s. And then titanium retainers and locks. I'm checking out the lifters now. Now I've always used Crane Ultra Pro. I've used competition cams. I had some issues with them, with oiling. I don't know, I just didn't like the way that the lifters were set up into the bores. And I think they lifted up and would lose a little pressure. But I went with the Ultra Pros, and since then I've never had any oiling problems with the lifters or really anything other than normal wear and tear with them. If these are good, we're going to check them all up. I'm going to throw them in there. I do have a set of Iski Red Zone with a roller bushing that I got from Ron Iskandarian. Actually in 2013 I was going to put in this motor originally. But they had sent me Windsor lifters. And I had actually put them in and have these problems with the oil pressure. And I do got pictures of the oil pressure gauge. You get to have pressure maybe 65, 70, and then as it started to warm up, it dropped right down and start fluctuating. So that's what I found out. And actually, I'll tell you who told me the problem was Mark McEwen. So MME. Won't get into any more of that story. You're not going to really benefit from it. Here's where I'm at. The cam I'm using, it's a Bullet cam, and this is a regrind that I had made from my Dyno 2000 engine simulation program. I put the numbers in my cam that I had previously, changed stuff around and kind of told me this would be the best one, so I sent him a cam that I had bought from someone. It was a big old Roller Pro stock, and I had it ground down to this, which is 273 and 284, 744 and 727 on a 109. And I put it in, last it was in, I think it was 107. We're gonna put the cam in now and degree it in and check and see where we're at. And obviously we're gonna check the piston and valve clearance. So I appreciate you tuning in, everybody that's been helping me along with this motor. Again, shout out for Billet, Cams, talk to Mark. If you got any questions, he's a Cleveland guy. He knows his Clevelands, and he actually knows A3 heads. He's raced with them before. Got a double pinned camshaft. I think that's important to have when you get high spring pressures. We're setting this up to be about 275 to 280 on the seat, about 750 to 765 on the nose. Putting the cam in now. I got most of it in already. I'm using this T-wrench to help balance it like a cam holder so I don't bang into the bearings, and it went in pretty easy. All right, guys, so here's where we're at. We're ready to put the thrust plate on for the camshaft. I want to thank Steve Kinzel for stopping by on one of my episodes, Kinzel Ventures Limited. I appreciate the coffee mug, coming by and seeing me. That was great. I want to throw a shout out to DragBoss Performance Products. Thanks for helping me out. Also want to thank Billet. Hopefully today when I get home from here, my springs, retainers, locks, everything else will be there. That'd be nice. I'll get these heads set up. So we got the camshaft plate here. It's recessed or countersunk for these type with a bearing, the Torrington bearing. What's up, guys? Tim Halstead here. We got Steve Kinzel here, who's on the power tour with his Mustang. He stopped in to say hi, check out the heads I got back from Morgan, and to talk about Cleveland's. His buddy's here, Barry. He's running a 3-second Camaro in the 8th. It's like 370?
393.
393. There he is, man. You don't play. You know, we're talking 973 cubic inches of motor.
978 naturally aspirated.
There it is, 978 naturally aspirated. So what's the mile an hour on that, Barry?
186.
So that's pretty fast, guys. I look at that and I look at what I'm running, and it just makes me go, whoa. Puts everything into perspective. But that's what it's about. You know, you do what you can do, you enjoy what you do, and you put your heart into it and you roll with it. So thanks for tuning in. Thanks, Steve, for stopping by. His wife's here too. And thanks, girls, for being in the video. Subscribe and share.
Bye-bye. I got Tim Halstead. Hey guys, Tim Halstead here. Back with another video. It's Iggy, Elena, and Tim.
Hi, guys.
Tim the worker.
All right, so here's what we're going to do. All right, Elena, you buzz that up. Perfect. We don't want to tighten it too much. Ready?
Also black.
Yep, go ahead.
At this time in May of 2021, Don Rhode had died in August
Snug it up.
10th
You can go a little bit.
of
So it just
2019.
touches.
So I
So
can't
that's
remember
4.
what
You come
happened
over
with the
here. Here's 5.
engine all this time, but I was
Those are up
making
there, don't they?
videos
Yep, nice and easy.
with measuring piston and valve clearance
Bring her
3
home.
different ways,
You go a little
also
faster. You'll get the hang of it.
degreeing
Keep
the
going.
cam
Good.
with
Yep.
detail.
Now it's this one.
And the engine was finished by myself and my kids, and then dynoed in November of
Good, that's
2021.
6. So then we go to 7.
The results of COVID were still in effect and difficult to get parts and get things done.
Ooh, easy now. We don't want to go tighten them too much.
8.
8. Give her a little, yep. A little more. You can see when that bolt gets close to slow down. Good. 9. How about if I do that one? See?
One more, we're 10.
Here you go. Here.
10.
10 it is. Easy.
1,
Yep.
0.
Go ahead. You can go give a little gas.
10.
Like that. All right, so let's torque these. Stand back now. Fall over. So we already set the torque wrench to what? It's 38. So we do an order. They're all torqued in a certain order. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10.
So,
We're on number uno. That is one.
and it doesn't fit good because that valve spring retainer, the spring, so you just kind of got to go.
Bye bye. You go work. Now.
Oops, sorry.
This
Elena.
is number 2.
Hang on, Liz.
I'll go outside.
Okay.
I'm
Now
standing
what?
over here. No shoes. 3. Yes, you also forgot. 4. 5. 6.
6.
And 7. Wait, 7's not here yet. 7. It's 7 right now. 7. 8. 9.
Oh, hi, hon.
10. 10 is the best.
There it is. So just a quick narration. There's the engine without one of the cylinder heads. You can see I use Cometic multi-layer head gaskets. Another view of the valley. And there's Elena with her face mask. And you can see the windage tray from Blake Livingston. There's me setting up the cylinder heads, which Rhode taught me how to do. Never done it before. I was trying to get the right pattern on the top of the valve with the right length push rod. It's a nice combustion chamber for the Cleveland. Izzy helped me do the piston to valve clearance using a dial indicator method. I also used the clay method and evaluated it also with clay with it loaded. And I always confirm that you got oil going to the top end of the rockers. Here are the specifics for the 769/775 horsepower Cleveland with some part numbers. So the quick version. So thanks for watching DragBoss Garage, because you never know what you're going to see or learn. Appreciate you guys tuning in, subscribing and sharing my channel. Let's keep it going. Stay tuned.